Dragon Ball Legends has given us a lot of cool stuff throughout this past year and a half. I mean, throughout that time frame, we've gotten legendary finish units and we've gotten transforming units, and recently we just got the announcement of our very first duo unit. But since they finally included the duo unit feature, that also raises the question, will we now be able to see a fusion mechanic in the game? A fusion mechanic in Dragon Ball Legends would be absolutely awesome. I would love to be able to see characters such as Goku and Vegeta be able to fuse together in real time to be able to go and fight off any opponent that they face. And truthfully speaking, there is a way to make it work without a dual mechanic, but of course with the dual mechanic, it would make things a whole lot easier. So I'm going to talk about both potential ideas to be able to gauge what you guys would think would be the best option. Let's start off with fusion without being a duo unit. So one of the most important things is that if you were to fuse without having the dual mechanic being implemented, then you would need to have both units on your team in order to fuse them together. Not only that, they would need to be from the appropriate saga in the correct form. So for this example, we'll use Goku and Vegeta. So you can't use, for example, base form Goku from the Saiyan saga and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta from the Buu saga and fuse them together to make Vegito. No, you would need base form Goku from the Buu saga and base form Vegeta from the Buu saga to fuse together to make Vegito. And I think one of the most important things I should know is that for this particular method, again, both units that you plan to fuse together need to be part of your active team, not the bench, your active team, which means that if you were to fuse them together, you're dropping from 3 characters down to 2. Since you're fusing 2 characters together, it's important to note that you're not going to keep the base stats of whichever character you use to initiate the fusion. But instead, again, since you're fusing 2 characters together, you're going to see an exponential boost in health, strength, defense, and all other stats. Because it makes sense that if you're fusing 2 characters together, they should, in theory, be very powerful. So now we have Goku and Vegeta fused together to make Vegito, but this does bring up the question. If Goku is a red unit, for example, and Vegeta is a blue unit, and they fuse to make Vegito, what element factors should they be? And honestly speaking, there is going the path of, well, whichever character initiated a fusion would be whatever element factor the fused warrior would be, but then that could create, I guess, balance issues because it gives the fused warrior way too much viability on top of being extremely powerful. But I think the perfect way to balance that would be to make them this particular element factor that's used by only 1 unit in the game. And that's make them into a light type. Light types have absolute element factor neutrality against the 5 main element factor types: red, blue, green, yellow, and purple. And dark types are only used in story mode, so they're not really a major factor in this. But even so, making fused warriors light types will 1, give that tag a bit more viability, and 2, it also makes the fused warrior formidable since they did fuse together, but not busted since they're neutral against everything else. But once again, it's important to reiterate that you're fusing 2 characters into 1. So if that character ends up getting knocked out, instead of you having 2 characters left, you'll only have 1. So it's high risk, but also high reward. And to discern which units can be fused together, if you were to go and check their card art, you would see the initial character up front, but then the fused warrior that they would be in the back. And that would actually be the character art you would see when you fuse together. That way you know that that unit can fuse into the fused warrior. This is something that they could absolutely do if they wanted to implement fusion into Dragon Ball Legends, but there is the other route of utilizing duo units. What makes this easier than the other method is that now that duo units are a thing, they could absolutely release a duo unit that's main focus is to fuse together. And not only that, it makes it a lot easier because with the other method, you had to sacrifice a unit in order to acquire the fusion, therefore dropping your team from 3 units down to 2. But with using a duo unit, then you just have to have that particular unit, I guess, either wait for the allotted amount of time before they can activate the fusion and have them fuse together while still keeping 3 units on your team. Plus, since dual units already have a set element factor type, that means that when they fuse together, they can still keep that same element factor instead of having to worry about 2 individual units fusing together and then trying to figure out what element factor they'll be. But with all those things being said, I do think that since you would still have 3 units on your team, when they fuse together, they should still be powerful, but not as powerful as sacrificing a unit in order to attain the fusion. That means that they would still get a power boost in all of their stats, but it would be less of a risk and much more of a neutral reward, but still a powerful unit nonetheless. But all in all, seeing a fusion mechanic in Dragon Ball Legends would be absolutely amazing, and with the duo mechanic now being a thing, it's entirely possible. But these are only some of my ideas, and I probably missed a few things, and that's where you guys come in. If you guys are actually down for my ideas, or you're maybe against it, or maybe you have your own specific idea, I would love to know everything in the comment section below. But with that being said, I'm Ndukauba, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.